Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We got a real good one here today. This has been going on for some time. The house, we built this house, let's see, it was about 3 years ago now. This staircase went in about not a year ago yet. It's just a couple months because I had a problem. The final set will be a set of floating stairs with metal runners going down here, and which is yet to be built, but this is just so we can access the basement from inside. And when we were building the house, we went based on the plans, and it turns out that this opening that we have here is just too small. So come down here, you see that we just about hit. So we need to move that beam on the far wall out further. Probably going to be about a foot out. So once we get down here, you can see that these set of beams here they could have been moved as well, but it's a lot easier to move that side than to move this side because this supports the wall up above it. So the plan is all of these stairs are just screwed in temporarily so that we can get up and down the stairs. But this beam here is going to be, actually it's going to be removed. We're going to put one more LVL in here next to this 2x12. And then take these two LVLs out and try to reuse them right here to put back in the hangers. So first thing we're going to do is build a wall here. We've got to remove these steps. Get some scaffolding set up, and then we'll be back. All right, got the stairs down. That wasn't too bad. They were just screwed down the side here temporarily. Actually nailed the bottom, I forgot, and I had to cut them free. And then I have these hangers up the top. Just kept one in the center, and then started lowering it down, and it wasn't too bad. A little heavy, but so next thing is get this out of the way and then start building this wall here. Okay, so it's next morning. Ended up getting the ductwork out of the way here and disconnecting the last two sections because I ended up going to go back to the first plan. The first plan was to take those two LVLs that are right there, and move them just straight back to the next 2x12. But the problem was that there is 2x12 over here on this side. Where is it on the screen? Right there. Preventing us from moving it over. So originally I was going to take that out, and then decided last night that I'm just going to come over here on this side right there and cut the tails off and cut this one on the right side, the 2x12, and then get another 2x12 and then just sister it up to this one. So the plan here is now, well, we got the wall up last night, everything stabilized here. The joist hanger is just about off on this side, and gonna take and work getting the rest of the glue and the nails out of the LVLs and push it over, get it secured back in place. My uncle went to get materials for the two new LVLs that are going to go across here, and once we get that, we'll start working the hangers back in. I gotta get these hangers off obviously, but everything is supported here. I was able to that little wonder bar there, from there all the way over to the left, that's all the glue and nails are taken out of there, so that's all good and ready to go. So it's been more than half the day just getting these two out, and let's see, these actually weren't too bad. Got the hanger off the side and took them apart in the center, and it came out pretty well. This beam has been kind of a pain in the butt, so been taking the flat bars like that and getting a little space and then running the sawzall all the way down. I think we're just about done all the way down here. This side, a little bit tighter, couldn't get up to the floor. So I think we got most of it out, but my uncle just brought the hydraulic jacks in, and I think that's what we're gonna try next. So yesterday was a little bit of a nightmare. But last night, later in the evening, ended up getting this side freed up, used the hydraulic jack and started moving it over. Once the last nail was cut, it finally started moving, obviously, but I thought it would at least give us a little bit. Anyway, ended up getting it close and then taking some PL Premium Loctite and smothering it all over this 2x12 that it's sitting against, and then came over and screwed it from the other side. Luckily, my electrical was lined up just fine. Not a big deal to change it, but it actually goes up right here in the living room. Could have pulled it back through, but I didn't want to have to worry about the drywall up there and have to do something else with it. Just one more thing to do. So luckily it worked out just perfect. So the LVLs, when they were put in, they were not trimmed down to where they should be. So I've been contemplating going back and actually ripping them down to make sure that the height is the same. But, you know, I'm not sure that I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. The problem here is that, you know, that one and this one are both the same height. And then everything in this side would actually have to be shimmed down. But at the end of the day, if I did a transition from here to here, a slight transition down, you'd never see it. So that's what I probably will do, but it's just going to be too much work to go back and trim these down at this point. If I had to replace this one, I probably would have done it. And then, you know, obviously the two for the side are right here. So what I'm going to do right now is, since that beam's in place, I'm going to go up here and clean off any of the glue that's still on the bottom side. You know, any of the thick stuff that's going to cause problems with setting the new LVLs up in place. I have some wiring up here as well. I need to take just a very small notch out of the LVL just to give it some relief. It's not pinching that wire that's going up through there. And then I'll cut these down and set them up one by one. Okay, I got both the new LVLs up in place back in the original bracket. And the only thing left to do now is to put the hangers back on the 2x12s here, add this 2x12 behind me, put the hanger over here, and had a little bit of an issue. That was poor planning on my part, trying to keep it and make sure it didn't touch it or disturb it before, because it was going to be its own project. This first LVL I had up in place and held up there temporarily, and ended up having to take the sawzall and trim it on the back. And of course, there's my casualty of war. So, well, it is what it is. I'll have to fix that in another video. And got the insulation done up there. I just cut the floor back on this side to where it needs to be. And Uncle Kev and I are gonna move this scaffolding out, put some drywall up, and then work to get the stairs back in. Well, it's one more day's passed here, and I temporarily hooked up my electrical there so I can play some video games, watch some TV, that kind of stuff. This morning I ended up finishing up there, right at the top of the ladder, to be able to run the drywall up there. And then I'll have a transition from the drywall where the wood flooring comes over the top of it. So got those pieces in just so I can get the temporary stairs back up. That wall had to be moved 10 inches towards us because there wasn't enough room on the landing to get full bearing on the bottom step. So I just moved that a couple minutes ago, and I'm gonna get this landing back in place, attached to the wall, and the both walls there, and there's 2 temporary legs here. And that should do it for us. Once that's done, I'll get the top of this landing back on and then start working to get the stairs in. Well, actually, I need to get the joist hangers in up here, the joist hanger on the end, remove this temporary wall, and then the stairs. So, and now I'm working on putting the joist hangers back on. And these are, I think they say, oh, this is USP. The other ones that I got are Simpson, and I believe they say 10s on them, but they're 10s and 12s. So let me see if you can see this. I don't know if you can see that or not. I can't even see the lens. But some people just go and slam any nails in here, and for the most part you may be okay, but they do make joist hanger nails just for that. And the rule of thumb is that if the material, you put in the size of nail or screw that is as big as the material allows. So if you're only going into one you know, one 2x12 and you need a joist hanger on there, then obviously an 1.5 inch nail is going to be fine, as long as it's a joist hanger nail. Like this one is marked with a symbol on the end of it, so that the inspector could come along and take a look and see that they're actually the right nails. These are stainless, so they're a little bit more expensive, but these were for outside, so I'm going to use them on this hanger, which is for the double LVL. And yes, you need to fill every hole with a nail. That is by design. They're not just there for using the ones that you want. Every hole should be filled with a nail. Or if you have these, I'm using these on the to the LVL, the 2x12s to the LVL. They're SDS screws, and they work just fine as well. So these are Simpson, they say exterior grade, strong drive SD connector screws, and they work really well, and they're a lot easier than banging them in. I do have a palm nailer for these. I'm going to see if this works here in just a couple minutes, because I'm going to need them for the big one. But I know that this palm nailer is not so healthy, so hopefully it works. At least it'll bang these in here. So I also have some larger screws for the big hanger, if I want to put a couple in those, just to make sure that they don't back out. I mean, that's the one thing. You're looking for the shear force, the shear strength of the nails, but this one also has ring shank on it, so they don't back out of the wood, or yeah, well, LVL in this case. Well, looks like we're good. It didn't budge at all, so that's real nice. And I just need to unscrew that 4x4, but I'll do it after I get those 2x12s, because right now they're holding them up in place, so they're only held on with a couple screws. So next I'm going to grab the stairs and try to reel them back over here in place and see what we can do. All right, so I got them up in place there, as you can see, and they're still just a little bit low, but I had to get forward, so I just tacked a board on here and pried it to get it up tight against the top. So now I'll start working on the one closest to the wall and get it to the height where I need it. And then I'll put a level on going out to the right side and get these other two level that way. Once I get them level that way, then I tack them up top, put the treads back on, and then should be ready for temporary use again. I did put, last time I put in the wall as well. These really should have had at least one more stringer, probably two more, one on the outside and one on the center, because they do bounce. So it's all put back together again, and this is just temporary until we get the other steps in, but they're, you know, it's just fine. These will keep my son protected when I put the plywood back down here. And then we gained about 7 inches of height from here to the floor. So I think at the bottom step it's 80, and it's about just a little 87 to the landing. And the landing, this sits right over the top of the landing, so I'm happy with that. The top is secured with strapping. It's usually used in shear walls and things like that. You usually use joist nails, joist hanger nails for securing that stuff, but this worked really well. It's curled underneath and secured on the bottom as well, and then nailed across the back. So they hang on that, plus the screws across these boards here are just a little added extra. There's screws that run down the side onto this wall that keeps that secured, and then it really stopped the bounce. So in the next video, I'm going to be doing the flooring up here, trying to finish this off and getting the post right in the corner there, and then that'll allow to get the railing here. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. And just remember, if you like these videos, please hit that subscribe button. And obviously there's a lot more to do down here, and there'll be a lot more videos coming. Thanks.